Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, January 29th, and my name is Suzanne Thomas, School Board Member of the Hamilton Southeastern School District. I'd like to make a clarifying statement. First, thank you for the many thoughtful and supportive comments. I truly appreciate the engagement. I also want to gently clarify the intent of my statement last night in the board meeting, as I think some comments may be missing the point, and it is important to me that this conversation remains respectful and constructive. My role as an elected school board member is to provide oversight, approve budgets, and set policy. That responsibility requires me to think forward, ask long-term questions, and focus on strategic planning for the health of this district. I was elected twice into this position because I asked the hard questions. I hold our administration accountable, and I support my teachers, students, and community, but I also support the very hard work of the administration. I'm very appreciative of all the efforts of our current administration, but no matter who is leading our school district, it is still my job, my governing role, to ask questions. And not just behind the scenes, but with transparency, and sometimes in board meetings. Nothing we do as a district or as a school board should ever be secretive, and I don't want to imply that we have been. But the frustration seen by the administration when a board member is asking legitimate questions causes concern for others, and it really shouldn't. I repeatedly said over and over, and I genuinely mean it, that I am grateful for the hard work of our financial team and helping us through a very trying time. I'm appreciative of the data and the information that is shared with the board by this administration, and I recognize the work being done. My comments in my statement last night were not meant to criticize individuals or assign blame, and I specifically said that in the statement. Rather, they were intended to ask governance-level questions about timing and focus. I also want to be very clear that my comments were not a criticism of our superintendent personally. I appreciate the transparency and the information that has been provided to this board over the past couple years, and I recognize the work being done by this administration to get us through a very difficult time. My focus remains on process and timing, and how we as a board receive information in a more proactive way so we can anticipate challenges rather than react to them after the fact. While the current communication approach is consistent with practices used by past administration and surrounding districts, the financial realities we are facing today are different, given that we are in a budget deficit and have been told our current trajectory may deepen that deficit. I believe it is appropriate to revisit and refine how financial information is being delivered to the board so we can change the pattern and strengthen proactive oversight. Let me be clear, these are just my opinions. I serve on a board of 7. Each has a right to their own opinion, but this is exactly why I was bringing this very important topic up for discussion. Serving on the board for 5 years, I've noticed a pattern, and it needs to be changed. It cannot change without the consensus from the board requesting administration respond more proactively than reactively. What does that look like? I don't know at this time, and it needs to be discussed, hence the reason I brought it up in a board meeting. However, if we are experiencing a budget deficit, what steps are being taken to alleviate that pressure? If the current trajectory creates additional debt and financial strain, what course corrections are being considered to change that path? I am confident these conversations are happening internally. However, speaking for myself, I do not always see that forward-looking information in a way that allows the board to engage early and meaningfully. We regularly hear presentations about how funds have been spent and where future spending is being anticipated, and I appreciate that. But what I am seeking from an oversight perspective is a clearer understanding of how we are managing risks, saving money, and adjusting course to ensure long-term financial stability. This is not about criticism. It is about ensuring the board has the right information at the right time so we can responsibly fulfill our role on behalf of the students, families, staff, and taxpayers. I do not apologize for asking questions that will help fellow board members and our community understand financial spending, the status of our current district and funding, and what actions we are taking to course correct. This should be no secret and should be appropriate for public communication. I will conclude with, I am not a perfect board member. We all make mistakes. If last night felt like an attack, for that I am truly sorry, but I stand behind my statement that this district has done some great things, but now we must review our process so all board members, not just financial committee, are aware and proactive in making decisions financially to identify risks, stressors, and deficits. And just as I stated in my original remarks, I respectfully acknowledge and appreciate the hard work of our CFO, the financial team, and the administration. And I value the efforts being made to support the district during a very challenging financial period. Thank you.